This is the Florida State Seminole betting preview for the 2019 season presented by SBR. We're talking the Florida State Seminoles, just 5-7 last year, Ian, and they broke their 36 game bowl streak. Saw it snap just last year. Willie Taggart entering his second year. New OC on the job. Kendall Briles steps in for Walt Bell. What's your overall thinking here for the Florida State Seminoles in 2019?
Well, lots of changes, Drew, no question about it. I mean, a quarterback change, offensive coordinator change. There's going to be a lot of changes that are going to take place with this team compared to what they looked like a season ago. Of course, you have to start on their offense. I mean, two quarterbacks that are battling for the number one spot. James Blackman, who's been with the program now multiple seasons. Him and DeAndre Francois, of course, who is now gone, have been there as the two main quarterbacks. And they also bring in Wisconsin transfer Alex Hornibrook, the southpaw, to challenge Blackman for the starting job. You mentioned to me off air that James Blackman, from all accounts, has the inside track to be the starting quarterback. But to me, I think Alex Hornibrook's going to get a serious look in terms of being the starting quarterback, considering he's a multi-year starter at Wisconsin, has a ton of experience playing there with the Badgers in that Big Ten conference. That I think they would give him quite a different a big chance anyway to be the starting quarterback. You know, the offensive line clearly wasn't good enough for the Florida State Seminoles. That's got to improve. The play calling left you scratching your head last season as well. Walt Bell, the offensive coordinator, there was not a lot of cohesion with him and the head coach, Willie Taggart, so he's out. And Kendall Briles, as you mentioned, Drew, brought in as the new offensive coordinator. Now, he's brought explosive, powerful, up-tempo offenses everywhere he's been. Baylor, Florida Atlantic, Houston. Now he's going to see if he can turn around this mess of a Florida State offense, because let's be honest, it was a mess last year. The good news is, you know, they have Tamori and Terry, a tremendous running back. The offensive line certainly can't be any worse than it was last year. You know, on the defensive side of the football, you look at this Florida State team. I think they've got a chance to be pretty solid when you look at it. The linebacking core has really struggled in past seasons. I think they're going to take a step forward as well. I know the secondary could have concerns, but I think they'll be better up front. Obviously, the pass defense got shredded last year for Florida State. I think it'll be a lot better this year. I think there's going to be some upside with this team from an ATS perspective. We'll see if they can make improvements, because quite honestly, you're buying low right now with Florida State after the disappointing year they had a season ago.
Yeah, absolutely. You bring up buying low. I mean, their season win total just pinned at 7 right now at FanDuel. And Ian, you bring up the quarterback situation. I do think it's an interesting one. James Blackman, a young kid, sophomore. He does come from Belle Glade, Florida, Glade Central, a strong football program there, high school wise, in the state of Florida. And Alex Hornibrook coming in. Everything I'm reading points towards James Blackman, but Alex Hornibrook, like you said, multi-year starter there at Wisconsin. This is a team, Ian, I see a lot of volatility with Florida State. They got a new OC coming in. A lot of people, liking that, Kendall Briles. But in my opinion, they had a good OC before. So what's really going to change? Walt Bell was there. And in terms of young, up-and-coming offensive coordinators, I don't think they really got much better than him. Kendall Briles, maybe so. But really looking at their schedule, Ian, they start off against Boise State in Jacksonville. Then they do play ULM. And then they go on the road to Charlottesville to take on UVA. And we saw Virginia last year really step up. In these first 3 games, I think they're going to be really telling. If they win those first 2 big ones, Boise State and Virginia, I see them being 5-0 going into Clemson. Likely a loss there. But outside of Clemson, you got Syracuse and Florida. It gets kind of tough to find losses. However, when you look at it and they lose those 2 games, just kind of morale with this Florida State team. We saw it pretty low last year. I feel like it could go back there and it could get ugly quickly in Tallahassee. So the season win total of 7, I kind of see it going way over or way under. Which way do you fall?
Yeah, there is volatility. And you mentioned Walt Bell. Is Walt Bell the problem last year? Was he not a great offensive play caller? Or was he a victim of Willie Taggart trying to suffocate the team and the offense and trying to overcoach? That's the question mark. We'll find out with how Walt Bell does at UMass. What we do know is what's here now at Florida State is Kendall Briles, and his teams the last few years have done pretty good in terms of production, points on the board on the offensive side of the football. I do think the defense is going to be pretty solid and improved for Florida State. And they get Boise State in week 1. We'll touch on that game They got a lot of question marks, Boise State on offense coming into the season. That might be an opportunity for Florida State in that very first game to maybe prove that this isn't going to be the same dreadful year they had a season ago. Didn't even get to a bowl game. That is extremely unacceptable to me and disappointing for Florida State. Certainly looking to get back to bowl eligibility. I think 7 or 8 wins not out of the question at all for this team.
He's Ian Cameron. I am Drew Martin. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And make sure to check out SBR Odds for all the live, up-to-date Week 1 odds in college football.